Welcome to Trading Lounge and the daily US stocks for Friday, August the 5th, and starting with Apple. And just generally with the markets, you know that we're looking for a particular top here. You also don't know, you also know that I don't know if the markets are bullish, if they're just going to keep on going and making new highs, or we're going to have this correction here. All I do know is that we need to be a little bit careful at this particular point in time now. So basically, if the markets were going to be bullish, if I can just take a bit of liberty here and just, if the markets are going to be bullish, it would have a smaller correction coming back to the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree here, and then pushing up at that point. I've got a couple of bullish counts, but they all pretty much, whichever way you want to look at it, they all basically come back to this move here. So one of the things we can do is we can look at this move coming down. If it's in 3 waves, then we've got a possibility of moving up. Only a possibility though. If it comes down in 5 waves, well then we're going to get another 5 over here for that. So that's one thing that we can look at. What else do I need to say about this? Okay, the other thing that I wanted to say is that with the tops, you know, we just got to be a little bit careful. Sometimes some stocks don't finish off properly. They're pulled around by other markets. So we just, you know, it could even be the US dollar or the bonds or some other thing out of left field, some news event or something, you know, but there's normally some sort of reason for a turn. So we just need to be, it's not a time to be trading long with big positions. But that said, also what I want to say is in a bullish market, Friday and Monday are normally the bullish days. So if Friday is not bullish, then it's a pretty good idea that the market's turning down at that point if we don't get Fridays being bullish. Okay, if Friday is bullish, well then just trade long, and the tops that I've got in these markets, they could be extended up higher, because if Friday closes strong, then Monday's likely to follow through on that. So just trade the sort of sentiment in a way, and use the wave count and the levels to help navigate that. So just to wrap that up, we're looking for a top, we're looking for a turn. Friday is normally bullish, and I'm kind of expecting the market to go up, but just see how strong it is. If it's strong, then you know that Monday is going to follow through on that, and you can continue on the long side. I mean, as an example of that, I'm just going to bring the S&P across here, because with the S&P, we've had wave 3 here, wave 4 here, and then we've been looking up for wave 1 and 2. Now, I could look at this as a triangle pattern here, but basically most of the stocks I have to look as wave 1 and 2 here. But still, we could have a top in place right here if I use that triangle pattern that I had before. I don't know if you're aware of that. You have to look at the indices one. So we could have a top in play right here, right now for this. I don't have the nicest impulse wave coming down here as such, but let's just say that there is another move to the upside here. That's where you'll need to be careful. Yeah, so I mean, wave 4's already overlapped wave 1 here in that case, so we have to be a bit careful. Yeah, but we could just get, if it was going to be bullish, it could just be something like that and then come down. It could also just come straight down from here if we were using that wave 4 sitting over here for that. So we just need to be a little bit careful about all of this, how we go forward next. So as I just mentioned, you could count this down as 5 waves here, as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But wave 4 is overlapping wave 1, so it's better as an ABC for the A wave, a B wave, and a C wave. So it means we should go up, and then you're sitting on 150 here. So if I was a day trader and looking to go long, I'd be looking to go long above this high now that it's sitting on here, and I could go to 150. Then I'd be looking at 153, looking for a tested support on 153, because that would be group 1 of 150 at that point, and then I'll be building in through 153, 155. 158, 160 and building up that way, you know. But for this here now as well, I think I'm going to move the stop up to this point here. Now, it may be a trap here as well, because this wave 4 here may play out over here. We may get 5. We've got to be a little bit careful, because we may just get 5 waves down here, and then that makes a nicer sort of A wave, B wave and C wave here, and then go up from there. And if that's the case, then you'll need to look to go long over here for that. A little classic trading levels pattern here. On the short side though, if you do get 5 waves here, nice clean 5 waves, well then you could also look to short under that at that point, because that's 5 waves here. This is not 5 waves, so that's why we've got to give it a bit of time. That's why I wouldn't, if that was a really clear 5 waves here, then we could look to short on this pullback of 50-60% from, you know, that high to low here, but would need to allow that 5 waves to play out here, and then it would go back and retest this, and it would also retest this 150 here as the 61.8% or thereabouts, and you could, if that does that, then you could move that up to that B wave high here and get a position at that point and that point. So we just need to be open-minded, flexible, use very small position sizes, whichever direction that you're going at this point in time. If Friday is starting to look positive and on the long side, then go with that. And then if it's sort of strong on the Friday, well then you might want to hold positions, you know, some positions over the Monday, because, or by Monday morning and so on through that way. And we go higher at that point. All I'm doing is just saying, I don't know if this is the top, but it is an area where there can be a top, and we just need to be extra careful at this point. Okay, so that's that really. And over to back to Apple again. So we've got, as I just mentioned with Apple here, we can do 2 things. If there is a top here, we've been tracking 5 waves up here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If there's a top here, then we could pull back to the wave 4, 1 lesser degree here, and then go up at that point. If this is 5 waves down here, then we're going to have another 5, and that means that we've probably got wave B here started, and technically wave B can pull back to the, if I take that to 168 here, close enough, we could pull back into this space here. It may or may not pull back into down deep as this here, could even pull deeper, but that's what we've got to stick the flag in the ground somewhere. But the 150 will play out as a good support, and as always, we're better off counting the structure to find the target points. So we can have a look at the bullish, which is the 10 and the 5, and these are 2 different counts here, and then we'll go to the 1000 and the 100 and just have an understanding of that particular top there. On the 10,000 here, we've got this particular count. It's okay, there's nothing wrong with this particular count, but the thing here is you see that once we finish this top off here, we've got one more little move up here. We've been counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. We could come back to this wave 4 and then move up again. So that's sort of positive there. And over to the 5,000 tick, which is a slightly different count. I kind of prefer the other one actually, but in a way it doesn't matter, because we still come back to this wave 4. Like once we finish off, let's just say that we've got, because I was looking at 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here, so you know, it may not go up much, but if Friday's going to be strong, it could push further up, you know. I was thinking of the 168, but could go to the 170. And now the other thing too is it's normally quite positive when a market gets inside of group 2. So this is group 2 here, so the medium level 150, and then we've got 65, 72 and 80. When a market climbs up into group 2 there, it normally stays up there, it doesn't come back out. So that's another thing. That's why I was sort of a little bit strong on mentioning that if Friday is strong, then we've got to keep going, go with the market. And obviously we're in a strong trend here for Apple as well. So, me talking about trading against the trend, that's first of all high risk, and the probabilities are not in line and all the rest of it. So, we still need to basically stay with the trend, and that Friday, if you see it being strong, that will be the guide stick to stay on that side. If Friday is not strong and you see Friday weak, then any sort of weakness really, then you know that there's a change in trend at that point. That's the good thing about understanding the bullish weekly cycle. But yeah, in this case, it comes back to this wave 4. So we need to see if we get 3 waves down here or 5 waves down here in this leg here. That will be one thing that we'll be looking at amongst others. And over to the 1000 ticks, which may have 2 counts on it, but so this is what we've been doing all week, as you know, from this wave 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1 and 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here for the third wave, fourth wave, 1, 2, and then looking up here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the third wave, fourth wave, and going up for the fifth wave. So I've moved the stop up and looking for a move higher up. And normally, if the extension's in wave 3, we can look at wave 1 here. It's a bit longer, this stick, but looking for move up here. So it'll just depend on how Friday pans out, being strong. At the same time, that's why I've got the stop here. This move down here looks a little bit impulsive. So if this low is taken out, we could also look to go short at that point there as well. Doesn't have to be big. We could just make it a small position, You also just have to watch out. It could be an A wave, B wave, and C wave, and then moving up at that point. We don't know that yet. But anyway, we have to protect that. So that's where that is. Let's just go to the 100 ticks just to see if there's anything I need to be aware about. No, we're just counting up here yesterday, weren't we? We were looking for the top here, and it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So it looks a bit sort of impulsive here, but still, we'll just put this over here. I mean, 8's a profit-taking number. That's why I've put 8 up here for that. And I mean, it does look like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So we need to be a bit careful about that. It's at the 50-60% here at the moment with that. So really, if you're going to go long here, you want that top there as support. So you want 166 as support. And let me just check on how far wave 4 could come back. Well, see, it's at the 38.2, so it doesn't need to come back again. It doesn't need to come deeper than that. We could have that. Well, that hasn't finished. That would have to, even as a corrective wave, that would have to go up there and make a new high and then come back down here, because that would have to be the A wave, the B wave, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the C wave here, and then up at that point. It could also just be bullish and just come back to this point here and then move up from that point there as well. So there's a few things. So it's interesting to know that, because that means if with our stop here at 164, we'd probably want to bring it down a bit lower in that case, Okay, so we spent a little bit of time on Apple and shooting the breeze about the world, so we can just kind of cruise into the other one. So with Nvidia here, we can, from the top here, we can look at it as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave down here, and we could just continue to move up here. One of the things here is that in this case, it's pretty clear to see that we got 5 waves here, isn't it? So if we get 5 waves in the opposite direction of the trend, and this is the opposite direction coming down here, we get 5 here, that means we'll get a correction and then another 5 up here. So as I mentioned, we could look at this being, wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and keep moving up here, but we don't know that yet. But it doesn't stop us doing anything. It just makes us more aware that there's 2 sides to the coin, and both are valid at this particular point. Yeah, but it is good news that we've got that 5 waves here, isn't it? You know, because we know that just tells us we're going to get a correction and then another 5, everything being equal. This market was a little bit out of sync with the other markets. On this low here was the 2nd of July. So all the other markets that had lows on the 15th and 17th of June. So that was sort of way back over here somewhere on these lows here. So I don't know what the significance of that is. I'm just noting it, that's all. A different type of low there. But yeah, markets sort of sync together emotionally, depending on fear and greed and all of these things. Anyway, 100, so from 10,000 ticks to 100 ticks. We're counting up as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and then going up for 5 here. It's been a bit of a, I wasn't really, still not sure about this being wave 1 and 2 here, or 1 and 2. I kind of like this one up here, even though it looks a little bit odd, just the way that I pulled this apart in here and counted it up. So anyway, that will come out in the wash. But in the meantime, I've just sort of synced everything in. So this wave 4 here is lined up with the other wave 4s, you know. Around that 3rd or 4th of August. I was just checking Apple on the side there, so that's right. So all of that, bringing it into the fold at this point, is probably the most important thing. So in this case here, if I look, it's pretty rational to look at 1 and 2 here, nice strong 3rd wave up here, and then a 4th wave across this level here, and then we're going up for the 5th wave here. So this market is quite strong because it's taking out the top here, where the Apple is still down here. But that just tells us that this is going to be going up here now. Do you know what I mean? It's a good sign for that. Just a thing, you know, even though you don't trade other markets, it's good to look around and have a look who's leading and following and seeing what's going on. You get, the more that you look at, the more you'll learn, the more you understand. Yeah, so this will need to go up further. So if Apple goes up, takes the top out here to 168 roughly, if that is going to be the case, the time that gets to 168, then this market could be, it's got to get through the top of group 1 here, which is always a bit of a drag. So the 193 is the top of group 1, because getting a tested support on there takes time, and that means that if it gets tested support on that, then it's leaving the 190, and if it's leaving 3, then it's going to go to 5 at that point. So that's about far as I could take it today. You know, it would like, markets do like going to big numbers up here. You know, everybody's looking at that, and that forces them to buy. It's like a big cake sitting on the table that's already cut up, and they're close to it, you know. Amazon, I won't look at the bigger picture here. So we know that this August 3rd, 4th low here is in play, and as wave 4. So we could look at this as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 here, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and have a top in place here. But we know that the other markets are going to be going up further, so it's likely that we'll probably go up further here as well for this. How far we'll go up, I'm not quite sure, and how we extend this out, I'm not quite sure as well. But this is where Friday comes in, if we can see Friday being bullish. So if this market was going to be bullish, then all we need to do is take that top out here for that. So that's pretty sort of simple. And this is at 143. So 143, it's spending time here, isn't it? So it's the group 1 of 140. So if it takes out any of these highs here, it means that it's got support on 143, and then that would set the target at 145. And then the next target up here is 8. And then if you're talking 8, then you're talking group 2. So you're talking 65, which is 14650. Close enough there. And then 72, which is 14720 in here for that. So that's where that would be. When we're talking small numbers, when we're talking sort of where you know these numbers are important, we're in that sort of space there. Well, then 144 is important as well in terms of geometry. With all of this, it's basically where the Gann numbers and the Fibonacci numbers meet at 144 to complete a full cycle. So it will be important at this point because we've got plenty of space around these numbers. It's not like you know, it's so small in the scale it doesn't matter. So it will be important. So just keep an eye on that. And what's the names here? Facebook. So yeah, so we're still looking for, well, we're looking for this to come down and have a bounce off the 150. I wasn't sure if it was going to hit the 150 because we hadn't touched it before, so there must be some, you know, strong orders sitting there, or no sellers pushing it down at that point. So we're looking to come back up to, you know, around this top over here. So it's doing that. So when the general market tops out, we'll have a look at this, and we may look to have a short down at this point, but not quite there today, but we'll be close to it. So we'll probably look at it next session. And Tesla here, we've got wave 3 here, and we've got our August 2nd low here for this one. So yeah, I can count this up in a couple of ways. I could see a nice little 5-wave structure down here. So then I started to think, do we have a top in here? Can I count this as 1 and 2 here? And 3 here, with an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave for wave 4, and then up for wave 5, and put that wave 5 here. Look, I'm probably wrong with that, and we do have some trades in here, by the way, didn't we? So somewhere in here, I'll just put a line through here somewhere. But the thing is that I'm going to put that stop. I was going to tuck it right in here for this. So, and by the way, too, our new website is coming along. Always things take longer than I think. We just wanted to automate all the registration and sign up, and give you more control over cancelling and adding and doing whatever you need to do, and putting a little forum in there so you can upload charts and videos in there and communicate to other folks. And all Alessio's stocks will be able to, you'll be able to find them much quicker just by typing in search. And yeah, just a bit better. It's not perfect, but you know, I don't have you know, websites are funny old things, aren't they? They you can build one for $1,500, or you can build one for $20,000, which was kind of where we are with that, or you can spend $250,000 on it or more, you know. So you can only do what you can do, really, isn't it? You know, so yeah, we just need to be careful about this. So anyway, we've got to stop in here. The other thing too is that once the market, when we talk about the trading levels, we know that this is group 1 here, and this is group 2. That's the swing range of the closest largest number, a medium level at this case. We know that if we get support on top of the group 1, we can go long. So we could go long above here. We could have gone long above here, but they didn't trigger off. If you get a classic trading levels pattern here, you could go long at that point there as well. I'm going to remove that. But also what I wanted to say is that when we're working with group 1 and the market trades above group 1 up here, the 30 trades above here, when it comes down again, and if it finds the number 2 here as 1, 2, 3, if it finds the number 2 as the retested resistance, then you know it's going to be pulled down to the 90 at that point. That's your first inkling that you know that you're doomed at that point, you know. So just keep that in mind if this comes back down here again. It's okay to spike down to, I always say it's okay to spike down to the halfway mark, the 5, the 15 in this case. So let it spike to that point and then go back and check it at that point. But yeah, just a clear breach of that brings it down. So yeah, this could easily go up further, but this because the rest of the markets need to push up, and and this is, it looks like a little impulse wave here. It looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which could be an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave going to here and then coming down. Do you know what I mean? So it could do that. So you have to be a little bit careful about that. But if it gives the first high above the level, then that's where you can go long at that point. Once you get the hang of this, and look, it's not easy to be disciplined, I mean, people that trade markets are really people that can think for themselves. But the trouble with that is that they think they're the boss when the market is the boss. So you need to do what you're told in a way. Alphabet here. So we've just been watching it push up here. So I'm not going, as I mentioned, I'm not going to get involved in it. It's pushing up. It's going to hit the 2. Nothing to see here at this point in time, unless I've got the whole markets wrong and it's going to be bullish, but then I'd still need a classic trading levels pattern set up on that 2 there, and then we could go up further from that point. So we're just going to see if the markets are going to turn at that point. So nothing to be done there. And Microsoft here, as I mentioned just with Microsoft in the bigger picture has got more of, it's one of those stocks that that I could see pushing up further. So we'll keep an eye on that. But one step at a time. We've got our August lows here, and we're looking at 1 and 2, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here for the 3rd wave, the 4th wave, and going up for the 5th wave. It's taking the top out there. You could probably put that over here for that as well. I haven't had quite a good look at that. Yeah, so I mean, the first thing I always look at, the extension in wave 3 here makes wave 1 and wave 5 roughly the same. I mean, don't take it point for point. That's not the point. But just for perspective, So we'll be up here somewhere with it. We could probably put that stop up under here. That's being a bit cheeky, and you could probably put it here as well. But I'll just put it here, and you can do that if the market pushes up. Okay, that's where that is, and just keep pushing up until you get it. Just keep going under every low within reason. So that's all good. And old Bertie over here, as I mentioned yesterday, we had it appeared that we had 5 waves down here. And we're not really getting that move up here, are we? It's sort of like taking its time. So I looked at this. I had this labelled yesterday, last time we spoke, as wave 1 here and 2 here, and possibly looking at this as 3 and 4 here, and then going up for 5. I did put the 3 here today and the 5 today, just to add to that 1 that we had. So we may have a top in play here already. We don't have a trade in here, so we don't have to do anything. The idea is to trade to the level and get out, and then wait for the next setup. But yeah, it looks like we've got 5 waves here, so we could be starting our A wave down here, you know what I mean? And it could push up as a B wave here and down for a C wave. It would be putting it in a little bit more of an advanced position, but I think the US banks are doing something like this as well. I can't get my head around the banks, but I won't do that just yet. But all I can say at this point is something, as I mentioned yesterday, something's not right here. This wave 4 it may not be right at this point, and this is pulling down here. We could look at this as being 5 waves up here, but and we could look at this as a B wave here, I guess. But I think to the upside here, if you were looking to short this, I wouldn't even short it. Actually, I'd be pretty careful about doing anything at the moment. Just whatever you do, just keep them small. So we could get something like this, and down like that. I really don't know. I could be wrong, and we could get 3, 4, and 5 up here. Like I say, I just don't know at this point in time. But what I could say in terms of trade setups and trading and those sort of things is you could simply buy at this stage, because this looks like it wants to go down. You could just buy it above the top here. How far that gets you up here, I don't know. But it's yeah. Anyway, it's a little bit dangerous, but I'll leave that with you at this point. And over to block. Yeah, when I look at this, I just see it as being sort of bullish, I see well, we can look at it as wave A and B here, but even if I had it as wave B here, I'd have to, as wave C, I'd have to go blue wave 1, blue wave 2, blue wave 3, blue wave 4, and it's just too small compared to 1 and 2. It's just not happening. I just see this, whichever way I count this, I just see it further up, you know. So I thought that I'd have a look at, this is Square here, just on that TradingView platform, and just push this back in here, bring that down. Oh, I suppose we need the date in here. So it did go up yesterday, last session rather, on lower volume than it did before. So we know that it's slowing down. But it just looks like it wants to continue to build up into this space, you know. This old high here is going to be important at 90. 90 is a medium sort of level, but it just doesn't look finished going up. It looks like it needs to have a correction here, but then to push up again. When I have a look at these guys here, kind of, you know, they're in the same, you know, in the same space in a way. But so PayPal has moved up to 100, but when I look at this as well, I could look at this as it doesn't count very nicely as an impulse wave. It looks like 3 waves here, so an A wave, a B wave, but even still, as an A and a B, this would be wave 1 and 2 here, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 4 and 5. So I just see it's got further upside to go here. So this is telling me that the markets are bullish, and that a big ABC pullback that I'm talking about, that we probably won't get that, you know. Shopify is got a slightly different low here, and but even so, you know, if I take it from this one here, this is just not finished yet. This would be 1 and 2 in here. So there'll be a 1 and 2 in here, then a 1 and 2 to the upside here. I just kind of know that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. And then there's some sort of ABC pattern in here. And then also tied up in here will be a 1 and 2 to the upside. But if I've got 1 and 2 here, and this is 3, I still need 4 and 5 to go up here. And then I've got to find the low across here, wherever that may be, which we will do while I'm here, because this is a daily chart. Is it that one? Let's just thin that out a little bit. It looks like it's that low there, doesn't it? But in this case, it looks, if that's corrective of that, so like an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave up here. This is, well, we've got to be careful, but I do see, if I can just grab that tool there, I can see this as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here for that, and then coming back. So we'll see how that plays out, and I'll just put this here, just so we know what we're looking at, you know. Anyway, so an ABC here. So yeah, it's not, this one's not really giving me the a nice impulse wave off the low here. So we do need to be careful about Shopify. So these 3 will be, I mean, obviously they're in the same basket, but they've got different things going on, of course, you know. So anyway, that's just thought I'd have a bit of a look at that. So that's why I've drawn this line here. This I just see this has got a top to make, a pullback here, and then another move up here, you know, to finish this off, you know, at minimum to finish off this top here, you know. Just doesn't seem finished, that's all. And it's hard to make this an A, B, C to here, to make an A wave here, a B wave here, and a C wave here. I could, but the B wave's a little bit small. But still could be complex, simple, complex. Anyway, scratching my head, and then it just gets worse when I look at the banks. Now, this is the finance sector here. Now, the tricky thing about the finance sector and the banks here, this has been the low, as I mentioned earlier in the video, that the 15th, 16th, and 17th of June, this low here has been the low throughout the markets, and you know, throughout the crypto as well, and most markets, you know, even some of the commodities. So, but then this market made this low down here, took out that low here, and that's with all the banks as well. So then I'm sort of forced to look at it as an A wave, a B wave, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here for the C wave. This C wave may not be finished here. I mean, I may need to take it up here a little bit, but at the same time, some of the banks have already sort of started to move down here, which we'll have a look at. So I don't know if we've actually started this B wave in this particular instance here. So yeah, so I'm a bit unsure about this move up here, and I don't know if I've got the top in here now or we're going up here. I mean, you would think that we've got a little bit more of a move to come up to here, and then we'll come down at that point. That would be the normal side of things, and then we go up at that point. So that's the corrective. This is the corrective pattern that we're tracking through the markets, you know. So when we look at this here, it's Goldman's is the best, nice and easy with Goldman's. So it's got the A wave, the B wave, just nipping the lows out here, and then we've got 5 waves up here. Not a biggie, you know. And then we get up to this August, or it's not even the August. This is the August one over here, yeah. But slightly different again. But we've had this 1 and 2 here, and then 3 here, and then 4 here. And then I'm thinking to myself, well, we just made a new little high here. Do I have to look at this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here? Is that it? Or are we going to have this as wave 1 here, 2 here, 3, 4 and 5 here to finish this off here? That's what I don't know. Or are we done and we just come down into this ABC pattern over here as it is? So it's reasonably clear here. I mean, if this drops below the 330 area here, then we're probably on our way down here. And when I look at the other markets, this is JP here, it's already been coming down, and I'm wondering, well, do I put, and this 5 waves up here, I mean, Goldman's from this point have been going up here, you know. This one has been going down from here. So do I put wave A up here for this? That's probably not right, but it's not going to get up here far enough, is it? So it's going to kind of do something like this and then down into this area here for this. I don't know. I don't know. I can't help here. I can't help at this point. And then the same with Bank of America here. This is just 10,000 ticks. We've got that low, then we've got this low here. I mean, if we didn't get that spike here, for instance, then we could look at this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I could put this over here, but it's not the case. So I'd like to, and probably it's the right thing to do, actually. Yeah, so yeah. Anyway, all of this sideways, we've got Morgan's going down, we've got Goldman's going up, and we've got Bank of America going sideways. And if I have to label all this in here, I would only be sort of into the guessing game. And if I did that, then I would lead you astray. So I'm not going to go in there today. It's just a little bit messy. I mean, I think that we should pop up and then we can have our ABC back and then go up again. But I don't know that, you know. I don't have any confidence in that. So I'm just going to say I can't help. I don't know, and I'll have to leave it alone at this point. Alrighty, that's it. So thanks for tuning in and enjoy the weekend. Cheers.